good evening. You are watching News Plus right here on ZTN Prime. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Faith Nyaude. A quick look at stories making the headlines tonight. Youths from different parts of the country have started accessing the $2 million United States Presidential Youth Empowerment Revolving Fund, with President Mnangagwa today handing over tipper trucks to youths from 4 provinces. Stay tuned to News Plus as we shall give you the President's message to beneficiaries of the fund. Authorities are confident that the country's power situation will improve on account of increasing inflows into the Zambezi River, which feeds into Kariba Dam, one of Zimbabwe's main sources of power. We give you the latest on a stray lion that has been terrorizing villagers in Zimbabwe's Marange area. Tinashe Farao from Zimparks will be joining us live to discuss human-wildlife conflict in the country. And in sport, debutant Vincent Masekesas led the Chevrons fight back against Bangladesh, picking up 3 wickets in the afternoon session to pull back the Tiger, who had threatened to build a large first innings lead on day 2 of the second test in Chattogram. In our top story this evening, President Emmerson Mnangagwa has recently launched the Youth Empowerment Fund and will not tolerate abuse of financing, equipment and other facilities. The president said this earlier today while handing over tipper trucks to the youth under the $2 million revolving fund aimed at supporting youth-led income-generating projects countrywide. Tafara Swachio witnessed the equipment handover event and files the following report.
In March this year, President Mnangagwa launched a $2 million revolving fund. The fund is aimed at supporting youth-led income-generating projects countrywide. Today, the president handed over tipper trucks to youth under the revolving fund. As he handed over the trucks, the president sounded a stern warning to the youths, a warning against corruption and abuse of funds.
I have told them that whoever is the word abuse in his mind, I guess the Javel. There's no question of abuse. They know it that Mnangagwa kunanya abuse. Kana andikawana nagona spell abuse ndomro. There must be honest work throughout, because this is not for individuals. It's for the youth. It's for the organization. The public good.
The $2 million revolving fund will be distributed equally across the country's 10 provinces. Each province is expected in proposals and quotations for their preferred income-generating project. So far, 4 provinces have sent in proposals, and today they received their allocation. President Mnangagwa was pleased to see the income-generating projects by young people spring to life.
Youth ndo kuchino upenyu wakasimba, so isusu vatungamiri tinoandangaro dzekuti simbise youth yedu. We must empower our youth in order for them to drive the economy, develop the economy, because they have the energy and the wisdom, and they cannot do that when we empower them. And this is the process of empowering our youth, and I'm very happy that they're doing precisely what we expect them to do. I'm very happy.
Under this model, no cash will be distributed. Only specific projects supported with quotations and requisite documents will be funded. This is meant to ensure the funds are effectively used for their sole purpose. Youth Empowerment Minister Tino Machakaere explained the modalities of the funds.
We really want to appreciate and thank His Excellency the President Comrade E.D. Mnangagwa for this initiative. Today he's handed over the first batch of dump trucks that were donated in form of cash, the 2 million which was launched a few weeks ago. But nevertheless, we want to thank him for his ideas and guidance. You know, if it was going to be distributed in cash, there was going to be chaos within our provinces and our youth.
The 4 provinces which were first to benefit from the fund today were Matabeleland South, Bulawayo, Matabeleland North, and Mashonaland East provinces. Profits accumulating the income-generating projects are expected to be used to initiate more entrepreneurial projects. ZANU-PF Mafringo Provincial Youth Chairperson Tichaona Mandevu described the initiative as the first of its kind.
Tafara zvikuru nezvetiri kuitirwa naPresident wedu Baba Mnangagwa. Nekuti sema-youth tikatarisa dispensation yedu yapinda mutongo hwababa Mnangagwa hazvisati zvamboitika izvozvo kuti ma-youth tive tinoitwa empowered since 1980. Isusu executive yedu ndokutanga.
The 6 remaining provinces are expected to have their proposals and requisite documents processed and approved before they receive their allotment from the fund. The revolving fund, launched in March this year, is expected to help young people bridge opportunity gaps, strengthen economic resilience, and secure a more solid future for them and their families. Tafaras Buchiwe for ZTN Prime.
President Mnangagwa is expected to officially launch the country's bid for a non-permanent seat in the United Nations Security Council for the 2027 to 2028 term during the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly in September of this year. This came out during a post-cabinet media briefing in Harare today, where it was revealed that cabinet has considered and approved Zimbabwe's campaign strategy. The move has already been endorsed by both the Southern African Development Community (SADC) and the African Union. During a question and answer session after the briefing, Minister Murara spoke on the importance of the bid.
The same constitution says Zimbabwe shall belong to Africa as a Pan-Africanist country, but belong to the United Nations and take its responsibility for the promotion of peace, progress, and upward movement of humanity. So if you look at it and that the constitution is the expression of the will of the Zimbabwean people, it means Zimbabwe has to participate in the international environment in which it can curve its place, where the prosperity can be experienced, where we have happy and fulfilling lives. But it cannot come cheap, it has to come with a responsibility. So Zimbabwe is a responsible part of the international or the Committee of Nations. So the benefits are that we promote our interests, our prosperity, and promote this by promoting peace and tranquility around the world. And the United Nations Security Council just stands for this. And Zimbabwe wants to be part of this as a responsible citizen of the Committee of Nations.
In another post-cabinet briefing update, authorities have noted a significant improvement in the inflows into the Zambezi River, which feeds into the country's main water source, Kariba Dam. The increase in water levels at Kariba is expected to improve the country's power generation and ease load shedding. The improvement in inflows has also been noted at Victoria Falls, which is expected to boost tourist visits.
Going forward, we think that our main target is to make sure that agriculture, especially when we have winter plowing, we add at least 500 to 600 megawatts of irrigation power if the figures that we are being given by the Minister of Agriculture are fruitful and come to fruition, then the power demand increases. That's where we think this year, because of the Kariba, which is increasing, and because of some of the work that is being done at Wange 1 and 6, and also the firm supply that we are getting from Wange 7 and 8, that power for agriculture will be assured. So we want to assure the farmers that go and plow your winter cropping as indicated by the Minister of Agriculture, and we can assure them that there will be power available for that purposes. So the management of the power balance is what we must do in order to make sure that those who demand the power, particularly to drive the economy, get that power. And that means in some cases households might suffer a little bit.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Finance says it is working on creating incentives aimed at attracting more investment into Zimbabwe's energy sector, a move expected to boost industrial productivity. This comes at a time players in the retail sector are calling for energy projects to be granted national project status to ease the cost burden. More from our business correspondent, Melissa Chachkobo.
Zimbabwe is currently producing 1,245 megawatts against a daily demand of about 2,000 megawatts as of 29 April 2025. The power shortage translates to a shortage of 755 megawatts, highlighting the need for more capital injection in the energy sector. Speaking on his meetings at the International Monetary Fund World Bank in Washington, D.C. recently, Finance Minister Mthuli Ncube said he engaged with investors to encourage capital flows into Zimbabwe's energy value chain. He says Zimbabwe is working on creating incentives that will crowd in private sector investment in the energy sector.
Opportunities lie in Zimbabwe for investment right through the energy sector value chain, from production of power to transmission of power to distribution and final retail of power. All along that value chain are investment opportunities where we can crowd in the private sector, where we could unleash some incentives to attract the private sector. We've already done a lot.
He expressed optimism that such talks will bear fruit.
So really it's been fruitful discussions that we're having here, and also we've managed to meet with officials within the U.S. government, in Treasury, on Capitol Hill, trying to make sure that they understand what we're trying to do as we try to develop our economy.
But is this enough to tackle the energy challenges Zimbabwe faces? Retailers such as Spark Group say it costs 30 cents per kilowatt hour to run a store using a generator, but with ZESA the cost is 16 cents. When factoring in solar, it's 9 cents, making green energy ideal for their stores. Prioritizing energy investments and categorizing them to national project status may solve some of their problems.
How about coming up with a national project status, whereby anyone who is investing $1 million into energy, that project being deemed national status? Because we all know we are going to benefit out of that. But in this scenario, we are not. We are putting obstacles after obstacles after obstacles.
Energy is an economic enabler, and Parliament is continuously looking into how legislative support can help lower barriers for investment.
Government has got an interest. And here we are looking at the proposal to say, let's have national project status on the solar projects where investment is at least 1 million. This is actually incentivizing investment in energy. And I think it's an idea that we will also take up when we present our paper in the House.
Stakeholders agree that boosting energy capacity is central to Zimbabwe's ongoing economic recovery and industrial expansion. But until long-term solutions are implemented, business continues to bear the weight of an unstable power supply. Reporting for ZTM Prime, I'm Melissa Chachkobo in Harare.
Now, President Emmerson Mnangagwa is on Wednesday expected to preside over the double burial of two national heroes, retired Brigadier General Victor Rungani and former Central Intelligence Organization Director Walter Basopo at the National Heroes Acre in Harare. The two national heroes died last Tuesday, and President Mnangagwa conferred national hero status on them for their critical contributions before, during, and after the country's protracted liberation struggle. Brigadier General Rungani died at Mbuya Doctors Hospital in Waterfalls, Harare, aged 76, while Basopo died at Live Glenclough Hospital in Pretoria, South Africa, aged 66. This will become the sixth double burial of national heroes since 2016, following the burials of retired Major General Solomon Siziba and former Minister Chinamo Chencha Kesha Chimtengwende in January of this year, while Johannes Tumana and retired Brigadier General Milton Siziba were buried in August of 2023. In January of 2021, the late former Manicaland Provincial Affairs and Devolution Minister, Dr. Ellen Goradzimba, and ZANU-PF Central Committee member Motondizi Paul Malianga also had a double burial. On the 13th of April 2016, Victoria Chitepo and Vivian Mwashita were buried on the same day, while Mild Muzenda, the widow of the late Vice President Simon Muzenda, and George Rutanire also had a double burial on the 26th of August in the year 2017. Now, when News Plus comes back, Tinashe Farao joins us to talk about the lion that has been terrorizing people in the Marangi area. Stay with us.
We are exhibiting at the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair 2025. We are exhibiting as a province under the theme towards 8 billion economy by the year 2030. Gutu district is the third largest district in Masvingo after Mwenezi and Chirezi. It has got 41 wards and 208,128 people. We have got different investment opportunities whereby we are inviting potential investors to come and partner with us. We have got different investment opportunities within Gutu district, which are among them include tourism, real estate, energy, mining and agriculture.
In this edition of ZITF 2025, we are here to invite potential investors who are willing to invest in 4 major clusters, which I will highlight. And the first investment opportunity is under the sector real estate. Under real estate, we have 400 hectares of land, which is located in Chomfuli, which is about 3.2 kilometers west of Mpandawana town board area. We are inviting potential investors. We are willing to put up a mix of developments, which might be real estate development, construction of commercial complexes, construction of, we also have a land which is potential for the development of university, tertiary institution. And we are also inviting potential investors who also have the capacity to put up a golf course. And the second cluster of our investment that we are marketing here at ZITF is ecotourism. We are inviting potential investors to come and invest at Woodlands Dam, which is also located some 14 kilometers southwest of Gutu, of Mpandawana town board area. And as the local authority, we have managed to identify 4 potential sites that are suitable to put up a conference center and as well as accommodation facilities. Potential investors are also invited who are willing to introduce leisure activities such as boat cruising, canoeing, and stuff like that. Then the third sector that we are advertising here at ZITF is mining. Under mining, Gutu is endowed with various minerals as unearthed by the recently completed research which were ongoing in our district master plan. So we are inviting potential investors to come and further explore for various minerals such as gold in Zoma area, tantalite in Chwara area, and lithium in areas surrounding Mpandawana town board at the eastern side of Mpandawana town board area. Then the last development sector that we are inviting potential investors is under the energy sector. We are proposing a 5 megawatt hydropower plant at Ruti Dam, which is located in the eastern part of the district, bordering Gutu district and Chikomba district. So potential investors are welcome who are willing to invest in the energy sector to put up a 5 megawatt hydropower plant.
You are still watching News Plus. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, Iran has pledged to venture into pharmaceutical and tractor manufacturing joint ventures with Zimbabwe. While final details of the deals are still to be negotiated and finalized, it is envisaged that National Pharmaceutical Company NATPharm and Tamin Pharmaceutical Investment Company from Iran. This came out during an engagement Vice President Dr. Constantino Chiwenga held with Iranian Minister of Cooperatives, Labor and Social Services, Dr. Ahmad Meidari, at the ongoing Iran-Africa Economic Conference. Vice President Chiwenga also held a meeting with an Iranian health specialist in dermatology, Professor Said Nassar Emadi, who is keen to set up a skin disease clinic in Blayo as part of cooperation between Zimbabwe and Iran.
Council of Zimbabwe helpers every year, they managed to agree on all the lines of drugs and vaccines between our two countries. Anything that would be made here automatically would be registered in Zimbabwe, and once it is registered in Zimbabwe, then it goes with all other countries, because we have got an agreement with all the neighboring countries that once we register a drug, then it qualifies for other countries around us.
The developments are set to give impetus to Zimbabwe's modernization and industrialization agenda towards an upper middle class economy by 2030.
And if we empower our rural folk with that kind of equipment and mechanization, it will improve production, it improve the raw material also for the industries, and it create the jobs, first of all, for our rural folks. So that is very good. People don't have to come to the cities to look for the job. They'll find the job there within the area. And other thing, the rural development will take place because of the industry like this that's coming to the rural area.
Now, in other news, villagers of Mutsago in Marange had a sigh of relief after Zimparks Rangers eliminated a stray lion that had terrorized the community. This incident comes after the lion had killed 5 cattle. It is believed that the animal could have strayed from the Survey Valley Conservancy, an area around Bikita. Now, to help us understand the situation on the ground and get a feel of it, we now cross over to Zimparks spokesperson Tinashe Farao. Tinashe, a very good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. If you could just tell us what exactly transpired with the stray lion and what are the challenges that it posed?
Thank you very much. I think over the last month we've been trying to track down this problem animal. And it started off with the buffaloes, and obviously our suspicion is that the lions were following these stray buffaloes, but along the way it then came across cattle, which is easy prey for them. They then abandoned the tracking of the buffaloes, and then we then eliminated 2 of the buffaloes about a fortnight ago, which the buffalo had already injured about 4 or 5 people in the community, and now the lion was now feeding on cattle over the last 2-3 weeks, and I think the community has lost about 4 cattle. So we then moved in. We've been trying to track down this problem animal until we managed to eliminate it on Sunday.
Now, Tinashe, you did mention also that there were stray buffaloes in the area. What is being done to ensure that the community is safe?
I think there was an imposed, of course there was a curfew for the community members, because we were also doing a lot of awareness within that community to say, please try to minimize movements at night, because these animals, they move at night. So obviously there was self-imposed curfew, and also the advice that we were giving to the community in an effort to ensure that we don't lose lives, because these things have happened before, where people were attacked by lions and lives were lost. So we are happy now that at least only many communities lost their cattle, which is also a negative side effect of these animals, because it's a livelihood which has been lost. And we are glad we have restored normalcy in the community. We continue to encourage communities to make sure that they also give us as much information as possible so that we deal with these problems. We are also grateful to the District Council, Motare Road District Council, the traditional leaders, the councillors, and everyone else who was involved in providing necessary information in real time so that we deal with this problem.
Now, Tinashe, is elimination the only way we have of dealing with stray animals or to solve human-wildlife conflict?
We have two processes that we normally carry out. One is to capture the animal and put it back into the park, but it's an expensive process. It needs a lot of money, it needs a lot of resources. And I think you also need to realize that these animals are dangerous. A lion is a very dangerous animal. If it's not handled with care, it might injure or kill someone in the process. But this one was the easiest route out of it because we don't have resources. In some cases, we capture the animals, put them back into the park, and because these animals might have been chased by other prey, because you know lions are territorial, so they might have been chased. So if you put it back into that, it might also come back, and if it comes back, it creates more problems for the community. And in some cases, it might be killed by other competing predators within the protected area.
Well, Tinashe, thank you so much for joining us and for those insights. That was Tinashe Farao, spokesperson with Zimparks. The Parliament of Zimbabwe has begun risk profiling and drafting a disaster management plan for the new Parliament building. A two-day sensitization workshop for Parliament staff and other stakeholders is underway in Mount Hampden. More from the following report.
In November 2022, Parliament of Zimbabwe moved to Mount Hampden, a location 25 kilometers away from the old colonial building it previously occupied, along Nelson Mandela Avenue in Harare Central Business District. Before the relocation, an incident took place that would partially lead to today's disaster management planning workshop. A suspicious-looking parcel, believed to be a bomb, was discovered near the building's entrance.
What worried me and everyone else is we didn't know what to do. Do we go out because the main entrance is where the parcel was? Do we have to let people use that entrance and risk whatever would happen?
Help eventually came and the package was retrieved. It was not a bomb, but the incident served as a wake-up call. Now at the new Parliament building, a majestic structure surpassing its predecessor in size and design, the stakes are way higher. The potential risks are more pronounced. Parliament administration has recognized the need for a comprehensive disaster plan to safeguard the facility and its occupants.
You will appreciate, Honorable Minister, when the House is sitting, we have plus or minus 1,200 people within the building. And you know how huge this facility is. We must be able to evacuate the building within the shortest possible time so that we don't lose any lives.
The risk profiling and disaster management plan drafting process is now underway, kicking off with the sensitization workshop for Parliament of Zimbabwe staff, members of Parliament, and key stakeholders. In his opening remarks, Deputy Minister for Local Government and Public Works Albert Mavunga emphasized the importance of disability inclusivity in the development of the final plan.
The planning process should provide for the access and functional needs of everyone, including those with disabilities and others with access and functional needs, those from religiously, racially, and ethnically diverse backgrounds.
The new Parliament building sits on 33,000 square meters with 6 floors. This building serves as the seat of Zimbabwe's legislative power. Given its significance and the number of people who occupy the building at any given time, a disaster management plan is not just a necessity, but a priority. For ZTN Prime, I'm Shreya Mjenjema at Parliament.
Now, the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission, ZAC, has called on political parties to unite in the fight against corruption. Political parties are obliged to contribute towards the fight against corruption as a pillar of the National Anti-Corruption Strategy, NACS. Speaking to the media after his address at the Zimbabwe Defense College today, ZAC chairperson Michael Reza implored all political parties to be actively involved.
In the previous NACS, we had 6 pillars, and the 6th pillar was the political parties pillar, and that pillar never met. The other 5 pillars met, but the political parties pillar never met. Only representatives from one political party, and that is ZANU-PF, attended the meetings. All other political parties did not turn up, to a point that the ZANU-PF representatives ended up not coming because they realized it was not worth it. But we are saying it is important for, and I'm appealing to all political parties in the country to come in NACS 2. They need to come because we need everybody to understand that the fight against corruption cannot be left to only one political party. Everybody has a role to play.
Now, up next is our crime and courts update with Kimberly Chibalanga.
2 police officers were arrested for allegedly accepting bribes and charged with criminal abuse of duty have been denied bail. They were denied bail on the basis that they are likely to interfere with investigations and witnesses using their authority as police officers. Rudo Chirengenture and Mupandira Michael are alleged to have released a suspect in cuffs soon after receiving a bribe. In another case, a 19-year-old Harare man, Tainos Matika, has been charged with theft of motor vehicle after he allegedly stole a car that was parked outside a bar at Sindoga Shops. Allegations are that the owner of the car parked his vehicle outside a bar and went in to watch football. When he came out, he found his car missing and notified the police. The accused was later on intercepted in Stone Ridge and subsequently arrested. He was remanded in custody to 30 April for plea recording after he pleaded guilty to the offense. Still at the courts, 3 people have been charged with murder after they fed a woman that they had stolen from a poisoned Pepsi drink. They appeared on separate records, with one of murder and another of theft. On the record of theft, they are alleged to have taken the now deceased cell phone and other unnamed belongings. They were remanded in custody to 30 April for bail consideration. For TN Prime, I'm Kimberly Chimbalanga in Harare.
You are watching News Plus. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly.
Stuck on you. Ooh, obsessed with you. I'm obsessed. With Showmax, your favorite characters now follow you anywhere. Download it today and watch the best in local, international, and everything in between.
Welcome back. You are still watching News Plus. Now, in a look at news from around the world, we started off in South Africa, where residents of Cape Town are yet to be evacuated from at least 198 households, including 48 residents who require special care, as a wildfire broke out in Table Mountain National Park on Sunday and spread to the city's southern suburb of Tokai. Local authorities intensified rescue operations on Monday. The Western Cape Department of Environmental Affairs and Development said that the wildfire has not yet been brought under control and that the government agencies have mobilized all available resources to combat the fire. Firefighters have divided the affected area into 5 sections to maximize firefighting efforts and try to control the fire based on wind speed and direction. Some areas of Table Mountain National Park have been temporarily closed, while the cause of the wildfire is still unclear.
You drive the car?
I drive the truck.
You drive car and go this way?
No, I'm going
this way. So how long from here to there?
How long?
Yeah, you drive the car.
20 minutes, half an hour. All depends where I have to go to.
And just only this car, the tank.
We've got 5 trucks.
5 trucks and the helicopter.
3 helicopters.
Still in South Africa, investment analysts are optimistic that the country's status as a top producer of platinum group metals, PGMs, essential for hydrogen and emissions reduction technologies, will help mitigate the effects of U.S. tariffs on other exports. While the Trump administration has imposed a 30% tariff on all South African goods entering the U.S. and a 25% tariff on vehicles and parts, key mineral exports including PGMs, coal, gold, manganese, and chrome are exempt from these tariffs. PGMs like platinum, palladium, and rhodium are crucial for manufacturing auto catalysts.
Coupled with the amount of recycled volumes of palladium that come into the market there, they actually could be almost self-sufficient in palladium. However, they do not have. There's no chance of them being self-sufficient in platinum, regardless of how much investment goes in. Does the US have an alternative market? And for platinum, the answer is a definite no.
The US has a very big automotive sector. It's only second to China in terms of size, and so it's a big sector. And PGMs are a critical part of the catalytic converter exhaust management systems, which are there to clean the air. And so palladium and rhodium and obviously platinum are very important in those particular processes.
Staying with the issue of U.S. tariffs, export-related companies in Thailand have expressed concerns that sweeping U.S. tariffs could cast a shadow over the future development of their businesses. The United States is Thailand's largest export market, accounting for 18% of the country's total exports. Under U.S. President Donald Trump's trade measures, Thailand faces a 36% tariff. With direct exports accounting for nearly 10% of Thailand's GDP, the tariff could reduce this contribution to less than 1.5% this year.
The trade war is very concerning and will completely change the way we do business. It will widen the gap between the businesses that can survive and those that cannot.
It will be painful in the next few months for sure. And it will be very challenging for the next few years. But within 5 years, 10 years, I think we will be in a much better position than now.
Meanwhile, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi has called on BRICS countries to lead by example in becoming a bulwark for the cause of peace and development. Wang made the call while attending the first phase of the BRICS foreign ministers in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Brazilian Foreign Affairs Minister Mauro Vieira chaired the meeting, where participants discussed the role of BRICS countries in promoting peace and security. BRICS countries have been encouraged to uphold universal security, implement the Global Security Initiative, promote security governance through mutual respect, and build lasting peace based on fairness and justice. Over in Israel, Israeli forces carried out an airstrike on a building in the Hadath area in Beirut's southern suburbs on Sunday evening, completely destroying one building and damaging nearby houses. During a visit to the area on Monday morning, a China media group correspondent saw that the targeted building has been completely destroyed and some nearby shops and houses had also been damaged in the airstrike. This marks the third time the southern suburbs of Beirut have been struck since the ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah came into effect last November. In Spain, a massive blackout hit on Monday, leaving large parts of the country without electricity and causing widespread disruption. Due to the widespread power outage, numerous shops located in one of the key commercial districts of downtown Madrid have implemented temporary closure measures. Furthermore, stores that remain operational have experienced a significant decline in customer footfall.
Hay clientes que sí, hay otros que no, pues porque no hay nada para ver, no hay luz.
Yo del trabajo me vengo en metro a casa, pero como no había metro he tenido que coger la alternativa de venirme en dos buses diferentes. Hemos tenido que salir antes del trabajo y en vez de venirme en metro, que tardo 40 minutos como mucho, me tengo que coger 2 metros.
Now we take a look at some business news.
The Rural Electrification Fund, REF, is inviting bids from reputable bidders for the following tenders. Tender number 1, REF Domestic 130425. Item description: supply and delivery of palisade fencing materials. Total quantity 1. Closing date and time 27 May 25. Tender number 2, REF Domestic 140425. Item description: supply and delivery of camping tents and mattresses. Total quantity various. Closing date and time 27 May 25. Tender number 3, REF Domestic 150425. Item description: supply and delivery of various promotional banners and other related promotional materials. Total quantity various. Closing date and time 27 May 25. Tender number 4, REF FRM 010425. Item description: invitation to framework arrangement for the provision of various vehicle repairs and maintenance services. Total quantity various. Closing date and time 27 May 25. Tender number 5, REF FRM 010425. Item description: invitation to framework arrangement for the supply and delivery of staff groceries. Quantity various. Closing date and time 27 May 25. Standard bidding documents availability. Bidding documents are available on the electronic government procurement system egp.pras.org.zw. Bid submission shall also be done on the EGP system not later than the date and time stated above. Please note that the closing time for all bids is 10 a.m. Rural Electrification Fund. Magetsi kumusha, amagetsi ekaya.
It's an experience and a half.
What are we looking at? Thank you guys for joining us on this unforgettable night.
Paw Patrol is on a roll.
It's Max Verstappen in the lead. The megastar is here.
Absolutely sensational.
Let's go!
It was such a success.
The rest is history.
Get unbelievable entertainment that is unbelievably easy to own. Get and stay connected to DSTV.
Welcome back. You are still watching News Plus. Now, in a look at business news tonight, Kaya Cement has announced plans to delist from the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange as part of its ongoing corporate rescue strategy. The company, currently under corporate rescue, says the move will help with stabilization and ensuring long-term recovery. On December 24 last year, Kaya Cement's board voluntarily placed the company under corporate rescue in terms of the Insolvency Act, appointing Bulisa Mbano of Grant Thornton to lead the process. In a notice, the company said the delisting decision, taken in consultation with financial advisors, is aimed at facilitating a turnaround plan to restructure its operations, manage debt, and restore viability. Kaya Cement also cited challenges in meeting listing requirements and high compliance costs such as delays in financial reporting and listing fees. Financial analyst Desire Mchipisi told ZTN Prime that the delisting would allow for the company to focus on recovery without public market response.
Kaya Cement's proposed delisting from the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange forms a critical part of its corporate recovery strategy, signaling a shift toward operational stabilization and financial restructuring outside the constraints of the public market. So in its current distress state, remaining listed imposes burdensome compliance costs, continuous disclosure obligations, and scrutiny that can hinder swift and decisive action. So at the moment, delisting provides much needed flexibility to negotiate with creditors, optimize internal operations, and implement turnaround measures under the guidance of a corporate rescue practitioner, as well as the Insolvency Act.
Analysts say that the move could free up critical resources and reduce overheads as Kaya Cement works to return to stability. Now, meanwhile, Turner Holdings Limited reported a 4% decline in turnover for the year ended 31 December 2024, down to $12.04 million from $12.56 million in the year 2023, mainly due to liquidity issues and reduced demand caused by El Niño-induced drought. Gross margin fell to 19% from 23%, impacted by rising raw material costs and exchange rate disparities. The operating expenses to sales ratio increased significantly to 48% from 35%, driven by inflation, particularly in the first and last quarters. The company made a $1.2 million provision for obsolete and slow-moving inventory, and operating expenses also included $267,771 in credit loss provisions and $111,710 in IMTT. This challenges led to a widened loss of $2.9 million compared to a $1.5 million loss the previous year. Speaking to ZTN Prime, head of research at Morgan & Co, Tafaram Tutu, said Turner Holdings Limited is a company which is struggling to keep up with the competition.
They do offer a good product, but two things are affecting it. So first is the influx of competition, especially from the East. We're seeing Chinese companies sprouting in the industry, and they're offering relatively good products at competitive prices because they have more modern machinery. They also have more variety than what Turner offers. So this has had the effect of moving sales towards these new.
And I will give you some sporting action.
Didn't graduate? I guess I blew it.
You couldn't advise him anything. He would just look at you and say, so who do you think you are?
We were just like really spoiled.
And then they just give me the receipt and I'd pay.
That guy walks in one day and then he says that he wants to make a movie.
He was blowing the money.
There was just like this habit that he had where as soon as he got money, it was gone.
I just didn't have the skills or the experience.
This money, I could see it disappear so fast.
Now look at sport this evening. We start off with some cricket, with debutant Vincent Masekisa led the Chevrons fight back against Bangladesh, picking up 3 wickets in the afternoon session to pull back the Tigers, who had threatened to build a large first innings, led on day 2 of the second test in Chattogram. It stumps Bangladesh with 291 for 7, leading by 64 runs in the first innings. Opener Shadman Islam then top scored for Bangladesh with 120 before falling to the bowling of Brian Bennett. Masekisa then picked up the big wicket of captain Najmul Shanto before adding the scalps of Monil Haku and Jakar Ali to pack back Bangladesh.
Whether they can add few more to this total of 227, which they managed to score yesterday, 5 for 60.
First up, spin first up. Angled and delivered this time. He counter-attacks, pulls it away. First boundary.
Shots of catch it, and he's probably carried it on. That is a big wicket.
Yeah, turn, but probably not uneven bounce.
Chase a wider delivery. Again, too straight, and he's put that away. Gorgeous looking drive down the ground.
Short again. There's a deep backward square leg, but he does have a fair bit to cover. Too much.
Yes, hit straight back to the bowler. He picks another one.
Trying to close the face of the bat.
Nicely eased. Quick run taken. Directed. There must be an opportunity here. Rock it out, and the cheers go out in the middle. Oh, got him. He has been bowling wonderfully well.
Takes less of the edge.
Oh, the deviation down the leg side. In line. Consistent bowling. Some discipline to be shown.
It's past the outside edge.
Play resumes at 6 a.m. on Wednesday. Now, in some football news, Cape United and Dynamos have had poor starts to the season, and chances are high they may not even recover to fight for the title. Highlanders, on the other hand, cannot be ruled out as yet, but they have also been far from being dominant. Holding things constant, one of 3 Zimbabwe traditional giants could fight relegation towards the end of the season. Earlier on, we crossed over to Zim Paper senior writer Langton Nyakwenda, and we asked him about chances of Dynamo's revival, starting with a green fuel game.
It's another banana skin affair for Lloyd Chigowe. Remember, Dynamos are coming from a draw against Gutu United, who many believed are the league sweeping boys, a team that is struggling financially, failing to fulfill home fixture against the Renthouse in week 7. Dynamos also have been firing blanks. They have not scored in their last 4 games. That draw against Gutu United coming on the back of 3 consecutive defeats against Chicken Inn, against the Renthouse and stuff, and Manica Diamonds and Sakuva. So I think Dynamos are on the ropes. And Lloyd Chigowe is, you'd think he's a dead man walking, but there are a lot of factors that are contributing to Dynamo's performance so far this season.
We also asked him if Cape United is what it takes to turn their fortunes around.
As for Cape United, they'll play FC Platinum at Rufaro on Wednesday. It's another cagey affair. You remember, each time FC Platinum meets Cape United, it's a headline match, given the history. You know, FC Platinum are being coached by Norman Mapeza, who is a childhood friend of Lloyd Chitembwe. So each time these 2 coaches clash, it's an exciting duel. But the good thing for Cape United is they are coming from a morale-boosting 1-0 win against Ayada at Rufaro last weekend. There were reports awash in various media platforms that Lloyd Chitembwe had been sacked. But it actually turned out that he had been given a 2-match ultimatum, starting with the game against the Miracle Boys at Yada. And ironically, it was Lloyd Chitembwe who performed the miracle and not Yada. And Cape United ended up winning against Yada. And for now, Lloyd Chitembwe is safe. But he needs a win against FC Platinum to pass this ultimatum. But Dynamos and Capes, they are in danger because at this stage of season, we have played 8 games, which is about 25% of the season.
Now, 7 matches are lined up in the Castle Lager Premiership on Wednesday. Joey Antipas Chigenin are home against Stubborn Telwan at Lviv. Cape United face champions Zimbabwe-Iran at Bata. Greenfield host Giants Dynamos at Greenfield Arena. Triangle are at home at Gibo against ZPC Kariba. Cape United face a tough FC Platinum at Rufaro. Ngezi Platinum Stars host Yada at Baobab, while Highlanders won't have it easy against Bikita Minerals at Barberfields. On Thursday, ambitious Scotland are at home against Herentals at Rufaro, while log leaders Moors face Manika Diamonds at Ngoni. Premiership giants Highlanders will be without the services of suspended midfielder duo of Melikaya Ncube and Mason Mushore when they face Bikita Minerals at Barberfields on Wednesday. Ncube and Mushore are part of 7 players who will not be eligible to play after accumulating 3 yellow cards. Others include Telwan captain Frank Mukarati, FC Platinum's Hagaizo Magaya, Greenfield Collins Mujuru, ZPC Kariba's Colin Mulea, and Marvelous Faranado from Yada. Now in rugby, a group of rugby fans today demonstrated at the Sports and Recreation Commission against Zimbabwe Rugby Union President Lawson Mutongwiza's treatment of the women's national rugby team. The Lady Sables received a raw deal from the union recently, and an audio leaked of Mutongwiza adding to the wounds did not help matters. The question is, what will be the endgame? Still in rugby, fresh from finishing 3rd in the Buds Trophy, Zimbabwe Under-20 rugby side lost 28-31 to the Sharks Academy of South Africa at Old Georgian Sports Club. Junior Sables captain Tafara Dewa was delighted by the fight back from his charges and hopes that they will give their all when they regroup on Sunday.
Yeah, I think it was a very good game. The problem was, as we started, the boys had jitters. The boys were afraid. They thought, yeah, Sharks is coming, so it was a bit hard for the boys. But then when we got in, played a couple minutes, the boys wanted to play it. The hunger was now there, so the boys started gelling and it started working out. So unfortunately, we ran out of time, but I think with a couple of minutes, we could have took that one. But yeah, I think that game is going to be a good game for us because today our numbers were short. The guys were injured from the Kenyan game. We were just out of tournament, so we started most of our bomb squad guys. But then, yeah, I think with the other guys back in, it's just going to be a good game.
For the Sharks Academy captain Conrad Botha, the tour to Zimbabwe is important for some of his players as they get to play away from home for the first time, as well as test their skills with the Junior Sables.
It was a very enjoyable game. I think we came here, we knew it was going to be our challenge, and the Zim boys really brought it to us today, tested our structures, and yeah, just big shout out to the Zim boys for bringing it to us. I mean, I know they're coming off a big competition, off the Barthes Cup, and for them to still be able to put up that physicality, really, we're very privileged to have the opportunity to play against them. And for my own guys, just they put up a big shift today, and I'm very proud of the guys. I'd say us as the Sharks, we're very structure based.
Well, that's all we had for you on News Plus this Tuesday evening. Thank you so much for joining us. We leave you with the weather forecast. My name is Faith Nyawade. Good evening and pleasant viewing.